Gooseberry Bridge Farm. I'm Stacy and this is a video about our U-pick flower farm and kind of how a U-pick flower farm is different in the planting stages and planting and all of that than a regular flower farm. One of those ways is with a regular flower farm, whatever that is. The colors of the flowers you choose would be different. With a U-pick, it's easier to just go with mixes. Most flower farmers would kind of frown on that, and they want all of their colors to be together, so because they're harvesting them. Now, in a U-pick flower farm, you're not harvesting your flowers, someone else's, and they kind of like to be able to pick and choose what colors they get, and they also like different colors than florists or just designers tend to like. Brighter, gaudy, the fanciest, flashiest, biggest flowers. That's what the U-pick customers are interested in. I have to really encourage people to pick the fillers also. I mean, they've got all this room in their container because it's a bulk container when you get to summer stuff, and they need to fill some of that in with greenery and things, otherwise their bouquet is going to be like a giant bunch of flowers. But if that's what they like, that's okay, because it's their thing. So I'm going to show you around the greenhouse now and what I'm doing this time of year. All right, it's kind of a mess, but I've got some things that I started early to try to have a few spring flowers with my late tulips and other whatever else I can get to bloom outside early. Like, I basically did not get around to planting my cool flowers in the fall, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because we had a horrible cold spell like most of the country in February, and the bachelor buttons made it through, but some of this like zone 7 stuff, we're technically in the like 5-6 border on our zone, and our microclimate gets even colder than that. So I'm kind of just experimenting with ways to keep stuff alive over the winter, ways to start things really early in the spring, and I'm just not quite there yet. But I started some dahlias right here from seed because I hate planting dahlia tubers. Not a popular opinion, but I hate planting them because they're a pain in the butt. So I started dahlias from seed because, like I said, for U-pick, you don't need all those special varieties. People don't know them, they don't really care, they want the pretty flower, and I would bet that this dahlia mix from seed is going to have pretty flowers. I mean, of course it is. It just might not be ones you know by name, or definitely won't be. These are mostly Mexican torch sunflowers, which they don't make the best cut flower, though sometimes people like to cut them. I don't really care if they cut them or not. They just aren't that, they just don't last that long. But the butterflies love them, and the people love butterflies. So I'm gonna line the entire side of my greenhouse on the west with Mexican torch sunflowers. This is dill, which you can't see at all, but it's tiny. There's the dill. I'm going to plant kind of a wall of dill in my flower field, about 145 plants. People loved the dill last year. I don't know why, but I mean, it was kind of cool. Here, I'll show you how it's done. So here we're back in my field with my nice wide rows for U-pick. This is all no-till, which is another topic for another day, but we put all this hay down and then we put weed fabric on top of that, like this row over here, before we plant in it. You kind of have to push the hay aside with each plant, and then plant the plant. But back to the dill. This row right here, this row right here is going to have the whole middle section. I'll back up some more. Is going to be dill. The dill gets 5 or 6 feet tall when it's planted at 9-inch spacing, which is what I'm going to do. And then the next row behind it is going to have some pretty tall cosmos. And then on either end, here and here, I'm going to do branching sunflowers. So when you're standing right here in early July, you will not see my neighbor's house over there. When you come up here and look this way, there'll be dill and branching sunflowers, and you won't see my garage, which most people don't seem to mind the garage, or my kids' mess in the yard. We're also putting in a picket fence around the flower field that'll go all the way around here. That'll help just keep the parking area, which is right here, and the flower field separate. That'll keep people from just walking into the flower field without coming to see us first at our little store over here. But it'll also keep kids in the flower field from wandering into the parking lot, which is, you know, always scary. And mom's picking flowers, you want to make sure that they don't have to worry too much. The fence will go here and then up here, and then there'll be a gate that goes across to the barn, and there'll be a gate somewhere in here to walk out and go to the store. These tulip rows will be all gone by the time it's summer and our fence is in, and then these are going to be there's going to probably be about 800 zinnias in this little section. You can envision it, right? So they'll walk in and just be wowed by these big zinnia plants. Now all the dogs are barking and everything. Anyway, so there's our field. We have started doing some narrower rows. Like this is probably not very wide. It's wide enough for a push mower. We did these original rows 6 feet thinking we could run the riding mower down the rows, but it doesn't work. It is really nice to have this area of the field so spacious for, it was really nice for social distancing, but it's also just, the flowers kind of spread in a little bit, and then you still have plenty of room to walk. You can push a stroller down one of these rows, a jogging stroller anyway. But some of the new beds we've made a little closer together. Like those two are new this year, and they're only 4 feet apart. This is going to be where I harden off my greenhouse plants, and then we'll be planting a pollinator garden here, which is the Mexican torch sunflowers I talked about. Then this side we've expanded to have flowers. Last year this was our potatoes and onions, which is why everything in the aisles is dead, because I drowned it out last year. But this was between the potato and onion beds, so it's still grass. I killed that off with hay, similar to how I've done these rows, and it's just not coming back. It's probably going to be all summer grasses. The perennial grasses are dead, so kind of good and bad. But so these 3 are set up to have frost cloth tunnels, so I can put my early stuff in these. I think this whole row is going to be the status. This whole row, I don't remember. Oh, snapdragons and something. And the row on the end is going to have calendula and something else. I've changed my map so many times I can't remember. So, and that row back along the back that I don't have a frost cloth tunnel set up for is going to be all straw flowers. They were really popular last year. Some people just wanted to come out to pick them to dry, which is cool. As part of our You Pick business model, we are planning to encourage people to pick a variety of flowers, like more like you would for a bouquet, and not to just get a bunch of the same thing. The main reason for that is that our pricing is based on an average of all the different flowers you could pick in our field. And if somebody comes out and picks like all higher value flowers, like let's say they pick an entire container full of straw flowers or an entire container full of one color of giant zinnias or something, that's just not, this is not ideal. We can't technically really stop them, and I don't really want to stop them if it's really just a person who loves red zinnias. So over here we have one of our many kind of no-till methods at work. These are rabbit tractors, and there's a rabbit or up to 6 rabbits in each one. And you can see we leave them on here for a couple days and they eat up the grass. That one had the 6 rabbits on it. They eat up the grass and the weeds, you know, just down to the ground. They're not like killing the roots or anything, which would be nice at this point because this is going to be my dahlia bed. But what I'm going to do is run these rabbits down it so that they poop and fertilize and remove the grass. See, there's a whole cluster of little rabbits there. And then we will we'll put hay on top of it and the grass will already be dead. Ideally, I would have started this in the fall, run the rabbits down, put hay, but I didn't know I was going to plant dahlias because like I mentioned at some point, I hate planting the tubers. But then I realized I could plant them from seed, and I've done that before, so I don't know why I didn't realize it, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try the easy method, as I'm gonna call it, and I'll just transplant little bitty plants and we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't need them to be early. I need some fall flowers. In the fall last year, all I had left by September was zinnias, pretty much, but that was with no succession planting. This year I've got a plan to succession plant, so I will have sunflowers, I'll have these dahlias back here, and I'm going to succession plant the cosmos, so I'll have fall cosmos, and hopefully it'll be better. I had tons of gomphrena in the summer too, but nobody cared, or the fall. So here's where our rabbits were last week. You can see it's actually starting to grow back. You can see the green in there, and then they were there and there and there, all over down here. And that is all growing back. Down at the end there, it looks really lush and green. That's where they were like 3 weeks ago. So I guess I gotta really stay on top of things after I get them out of here. I'm gonna cover this up quick to keep it from all growing back. Anyway, nice wide rows, fencing the field. Don't start your stuff too early, which is just an across the board sort of recommendation. For U-pick, just know that you need a lot of flowers. People want to see like fields of flowers. That's part of why they're coming to a U-pick flower farm. They don't want to see like what real flower farms look like, where everything is harvested before it opens. They don't want to harvest the flowers at their peak when they should be harvested for the longest vase life. They don't care for the most part. I mean, a few U-pick customers will care, and you can educate them about when to pick things, and that's great, but most of them are just there to pick a big pretty bouquet and take it home, and if it only lasts 5 days, they're happy with that. It's more about the experience, about coming to the farm, seeing all the flowers, seeing all the butterflies, and in our case, seeing all the farm animals. We have the baby goats. We bring out our rabbits. We let people feed the goats while they're here. We have pigs sometimes. Right now our pigs are in the back of the property, so they're not really in a good spot for U-pick, but that's kind of a secondary thing that brings people out here. It's just for the farm experience. And they love picking their flowers. It makes a good date night. It's a good family activity. It's outdoors. People like to get out. In the summer, we do open pretty early in the morning. Last summer we did 7 to 10 or 7 to 11 in the morning. We did have a few people that showed up for 7 a.m. U-pick, and we also open in the evening, just like an hour and a half or so before dark, just when it's cool enough. Our barn actually shades our flower fields the last hour or so of the day, so that helps too. So I'm just closing up the greenhouses for today and wanted to close up this video. So if you're thinking about starting a U-pick flower farm, think about your row spacing. Don't worry so much about what varieties you grow.